and we are here to bring you some breaking news. This just in. There is breaking news at the site of San Juan Hill. As we know, there's an ongoing battle in Cuba against the Spanish as we fight for Cuba's independence.
Our U.S. Navy and ground troops, the Rough Riders, have attacked the cities at San Juan Hill and El Caney in an attempt to push out the Spanish. Taking its route in the harbor of Santiago, this conflict has been lasting a significant amount of time. And our troops' motion to advance into these cities is all in favor of Cuba's independence.
We now hand things over to Myrtle, who is on the site at San Juan Hill to give you inside information.
I'm here at the scene of San Juan Hill, where the Cubans have just gained their independence from the Spanish stronghold. This has been a long struggle for success for the Americans, and it's lasted for almost 2 years now. San Juan Hill, where I am standing right now, was the scene of a very important battle for the Americans. In May of 1998, just 1 month after the Spanish-American War, the Spanish docked at Santiago de Cuba harbor, where they were met by U.S. naval forces who blockaded the entrance. Months later, the U.S. Army, led by Major Jelliam Williams R. Shafter, arrived at the coast of Cuba to begin their march with over 15,000 men to Santiago. The U.S. planned to attack the Spanish, both at sea and at land. In the center of the U.S. Army, Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders led the revolt. On July 1st, U.S. troops attacked the village of El Caney, but were met with over 500 who put it a hard fight. At the end of the day, some 18,000 Americans continued to press onto San Juan Hill. Before reaching the height of San Juan Hill, the hundreds of Americans fell under Spanish gunfire. The U.S. strategized by splitting up into 2 teams to take San Juan Hill and Kettle Hill. Among the group attacking Kettle Hill, the Rough Riders, including Teddy Roosevelt, led the soldiers up the hill. Following them, the black soldiers of the 9th and 10th Cavalry followed. By the end of the day, the Americans found themselves sitting proud with both the victory at Kettle Hill and San Juan Hill. 205 Americans were killed and 1,000 are estimated to be wounded, with only 58 estimated Spanish kills. On July 3rd, the Spanish army was demolished off Santiago Harbor by the U.S. warships. On July 17th, the Spanish surrendered El Caney and the rest of Cuba to the Americans. Back to you, Clarence.
Thanks, Myrtle.
This battle has been yet another victory for the United States as we continue to grow as a country and become a world leader.
What exciting times for our country. The Battle of San Juan was a long-lived conflict that was won due to major contributions from Teddy Roosevelt and his Rough Riders.
Oh yes, Teddy's band of volunteering soldiers who left their lives to fight in this war were a major factor in the state's victory. There has never been a greater cavalry in America's history.
After this short break, we'll report to Myrtle and her special guest. Stay tuned.
Are you tired of not knowing where you are at night?
I don't know where I am.
Well, now you don't have to.
I can see!
New technology has allowed us to come up with this bright invention. Now introducing the flashlight. This product is $29.99 at your local supermarket. This product will light up your way. And now we take you back to the site at San Juan Hill.
Take it away, Myrtle.
Thanks, Peggy and Clarence, for that wonderful introduction about a group whose name has been spreading everywhere. Today I have with me Teddy Roosevelt, who is going to explain more about his group that he created, the Rough Riders.
Oh yes, Myrtle. Anything you want to ask, I can answer.
Well, first off, Teddy, what was the purpose in making your group?
Well, Myrtle, there are many of reasons why I began the Rough Riders. I am very towards the idea that Cuba gets its independence. When I found out that the Maine exploded, killing our fellow American citizens, I figured that Spain had something to do with it, even if there is no evidence, due to the fact that they have been urging us to go to war. I decided it was time to help Cuba fight. I figured that first we needed a strong army unit to help capture the main forts to gain control over Spain.
Wow, I gotta say, that must have been crazy and took a lot of time to plan out. Now, I have a question. Was it easy to find members that would become Rough Riders alongside of you?
Honestly, Myrtle, That part was easy. I had more than 23,000 applications for people who wanted the job. The hardest part was picking out who I thought was experienced. In the end, though, I picked mainly everybody, creating a diverse group all the way from miners and cowboys to law enforcement officials.
Was there any times you felt like it was going to be your last battle?
Oh, definitely, all the time. During the first main battle of Las Guasimas, I dodged many of what could have been my last moments on this here earth with the help of these trees. I felt as if almost I was taking a shower in the bullets and dodging every single one, but it was worth it because we were able to drive the Spanish away.
Hooray! Now that's what I call a victory. Now tell me about how you ended up capturing San Juan Heights.
The Battle of San Juan Heights was the great day of my life. I had all of my Rough Riders perform charges up San Juan Heights and Kettle Hill on foot, performing my orders, while I and some others were able to raise the American flag over San Juan Heights, winning U.S. victory in the Spanish-American War.
And we Americans are so proud of your accomplishments that we were able to help us gain Guam, Puerto Rico, and Philippines along with Cuba's independence.
Well, I gotta say one thing, we could not have done it on our own. We are all glad our country can combine as one and work together to get what we want accomplished. Besides, we all enjoyed feeling like bad guys from the old West fighting on horseback, Myrtle.
Oh, Teddy! Always a pleasure talking with you. Now back to you, Clarence, who will be explaining the new Platt Amendment. Thank you.
Now we're going to introduce to you the Platt Amendment.
The Platt Amendment was made on March 2nd, 1901. This amendment was passed as a part of the 1901 Army Appropriations Bill.
Yes, but it wasn't approved until May 22nd, 1903. The document stipulated 7 conditions for the withdrawal of the U.S. troops remaining in Cuba at the end of the Spanish-American War.
And the 8th condition was that Cuba had to sign a treaty accepting these 7 conditions. The Platt Amendment also permitted the United States to lease or buy lands for the purpose of the establishing naval bases and coaling stations in Cuba.
Now that's impressive. It came out in 1901, but it wasn't approved until 1903. That's a long wait.
Yes, it is. Now why don't you tell us about the difficulties that the Platt Amendment faced?
Alrighty. By 1934, rising Cuban nationalism and widespread criticism of the Platt Amendment resulted in its repeal as part of the Franklin D. Roosevelt's Good Neighbor policy toward Latin America.
The United States, however, retained its lease on Guantanamo Bay, where a naval base was established. Such a shame. Well, that's all we have for today
See you next week.
on Alabama News.